so we can kick off anytime.
All right. Welcome back. We're back.
Yeah, we back, man.
In full effect. Back in the garage. Another episode.
Upgraded.
Yeah. We rotated a little bit.
That's right.
I think this is our third spot in the garage, so we moved around a little bit. Yeah. And at this point, it's early March.
It is.
We have launched this thing.
It's rolling.
And how's it going? What do you think?
We've hit, so we were getting close to hitting 1,000 views, and it was sitting at 970 for like 2 days. So for those 30 views, we waited a few days. Once it hit 1,000, it went to 1,100 in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
And then in like the next 5 days, it went to 1,200.
Yeah.
So it's looking like about 100 views every 5 days right now.
Yeah.
So we're sitting at like 1,201 earlier this morning. 57 subscribers.
Yeah,
man. And
I heard somebody say a leader with no followers is only taking a walk.
That's right. That's right, man.
So we got some people interested in what we have to share. So I think it's been great feedback.
Yes, amazing feedback.
We just launched my story last week, so that's got some interest as well. And it's been a journey, man. So so we're back and we have a special guest.
Oh yeah, we got a third chair.
Yeah, you might notice we have an empty chair here. So I think in the first episode I mentioned good friend of mine, family friend, buddy named John Hefney. I mentioned that he had been kicking tail in his journey and his transformation.
That's right.
And I said he would be good to have on the podcast. And so
prophetic.
Asking you shall receive.
Manifest that.
I know, right? So without further ado, I want to welcome good friend, brother of mine, John Hefney to the Joey and Jeremy podcast. So come on in.
We got to pipe in some applause right there.
Yeah. Welcome to the garage.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome to the garage.
Thank you.
John, it's your first time here.
Yeah.
We've been friends for a long time. You've never been over here, so welcome.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the garage.
It's a great spot, man. Great spot. I love it.
Yeah. It's my little garage that I spend a lot of time in. I talk about it all the time. So this is part of who I am at this point. So well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man.
We got a lot to talk about, but I always start with, how do we know each other? Some of the background, some of the history.
Yep.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, why don't you tell your version?
Okay. So how we originally met, our kids were in the same daycare. And I think they were probably 1-2 years old.
Yeah.
I'm a sports guy. We both, our school.
We had a lot of ups and downs.
We had a lot of ups and downs, and at that time, I think we were somewhat in between.
Yeah.
And so I think we had both dropped our kids off that morning to the daycare, and coming out of the daycare, I think you had on a South Carolina hat, and I think I just kind of noticed, and I said, "Hey, man, did you play ball in South Carolina or something?" And we both kind of and then we started talking sports, and it's been that was it.
I know
from that point right there.
That's right.
Yeah,
And,
so,
you got the same recollection, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's similar. I remember the daycare. I remember football conversation. I've talked about how people thought I was a football player.
Yeah, I did.
Based on my size. And,
I did.
And so John was a superstar football player. We'll probably get into that.
Superstar, but okay.
But yeah, I remember you, big guy as well. So obviously an athlete, former athlete. Fast forward, we started watching games at the house.
We did. I think we went to a couple of games.
We went to a lot of games in person. You've had season tickets for a long time. I don't know if you still have them or not, but
I gave them up.
Okay. I remember being excited anytime a game was coming up. I would be like, I hope John has an extra ticket.
And I did.
And he would have an extra ticket. I would drive sometimes.
Yeah.
It'd be late nights coming back from the games.
Crying sometimes.
That's right.
That
similar recollection.
Yeah.
Our kids, their birthdays around the same time.
That's right.
So,
actually, me and your daughter have the same birthday.
Same birthday, June 19th.
June 19th.
That's right. So that's a connection as well. And our kids are almost 16.
Oh, yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
So I hope family's well. We've been our families have been tight for a long time as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I moved away. I used to live in Charlotte, and I moved, and we kind of lost touch a little bit, right?
Not as much. Actually.
Not as much. Okay.
Let's be honest. Like we both live on the North Carolina South Carolina border, so I'm really like 15 minutes.
It's not too far. Not too far. And then I remember I started down this path. I won't spend any time talking about my story, but I remember you reached out.
That's right.
We talked about the fast way out and these groups that we had. You were not in any of those groups. So
no.
John kind of came in from the outside. And I'm curious about where you were at that point and what caused you to kind of reach out. And we released your success story. We'll probably put some links in the videos.
Okay, cool.
Here we are 4 or 5 years later, and you have stuck with it. So we want to hear about that journey and what that's been like. And but first, what caused you to just reach out in the first place, if you can recall?
I can recall. I remember, and this is. I remember we had been friends for a long time. This was probably right before the pandemic, 2019.
Before the pandemic.
And I remember. I think I may have reached it. We always text each other about sports or something that's going on, and we're like, "Hey, did you hear this news or this whatever? Can you believe this again or something like that?" But one particular day, I'm a back up just a little bit. I had been battling with weight loss just about all my adult life since I've been married, and it was just like after kids, and you kind of lose your way.
Yeah.
And you just, you try everything. You go to the doctors, they tell you to lose weight. Everybody tells you to lose weight, but nobody ever tells you how, or nobody tells you a pathway to lose weight.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I tried everything from keto diet to, trying to eat a little vegan to trying to just do like, eat during a certain time a day and only eat, I don't know, red vegetables, and I tried everything.
What's the craziest? Do you remember any crazy? I got a crazy one I tried.
A crazy one that one of my buddies gave me was just go straight to like diet soda. Just do diet soda and rice, and I was like, diet soda and rice. So that was one of the crazy ones, right?
Did you actually try it?
I tried it. I tried it.
I did.
And I was like, man, I cannot drink this much soda, man. I just can't. So
that didn't work for your diet. So
that didn't work for me.
I did a potato diet. It was all potatoes. Like I was French fries.
I've seen
French fries. And you couldn't put anything on them. I bought a book. This guy lost a bunch of weight.
Wow.
It wasn't
Penn Teller.
He had something similar.
Before he started doing the intermittent fasting, he did a straight potato type. But his was just baked potatoes.
Okay.
He couldn't put salt on it, no pepper, no butter.
Yeah.
And he did it for like 3 or 4 days, and he said after that he could put butter on it, and he said it's the best tasting thing he ever had.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a 5-star restaurant type guy.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, it's the best tasting thing I ever had.
That's right.
So that was one of the craziest ones that I did. The potato diet did not work for me. But anyway, I cut you off. So.
Oh no! So everything didn't work. I remember I'm gonna take it this. I give you this path. I remember. So I'm a football. I'm a sports guy. How I stay close to the game is outside of my full-time job. I ref football.
Yes.
And in football, of course, I'm running up and down the field. But at the time, I'm a big guy. I'm like almost 300 pounds.
How tall are you?
I'm right at 6 foot.
Okay.
5'11", 3/4. I'm 6 foot.
Okay.
And I remember just like officials who were older talking to me saying, "Hey, you need to drop your weight," And I was like very tired. Knees were hurting.
Mm-hmm.
I had all kinds of aches and pains. Of course, I also had high blood pressure. I tried,
of course, like that's just a given.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was that size. I high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I had all other kind of ailments, gout pain, joint pain. It was just things that's not good for, especially my demographic, and so.
About how old were you at that time?
At that time, when I started, I was probably right at 30, 32, 33, 30, maybe 35-ish time. And so I had tried everything. I couldn't lose weight. I had been trying just overnight. I always lift weights, but I never thought like what, as far as my diet and my intake. Long story short, I was frustrated. My doctor was like, look, we got to put you, I went from 2 blood pressure medicines to 3 blood pressure medicines to 5 blood pressure medicines. They could never regulate my blood pressure. And I was just so frustrated. And I prayed to God and I was like, listen, I've tried everything and I don't know. I need help. I don't know. And just, Lord, do something, bring something, help me, point me in the right direction. And me and Jeremy happened to be talking about sports and whatever. And I told him, man, I got to drop some weight. I got to do something. I don't know what it is. I've tried all those different diets. And Jeremy said, hey man, I got something, but I don't, it's not for everybody. Now that's fast forward. That was back maybe.
I'm big still at that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'd lost some weight at that point. I don't know, but
you had lost. I think I hadn't seen you because now we're hitting the pandemic and I hadn't seen you. Okay. And you're like, I got something for you. Let's talk. And I was like, man, tell me what it is. I'm open to whatever. Because I felt like I had tried everything. I was like, what's one more? I can try this. And you ran it down through to me. And I think Jeremy was expecting me to kind of be shocked. And I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. He was like, just start small. I said, okay. And I think it might have been on a Thursday or Friday. And you said, you know what? Take this weekend.
Think about it.
Get whatever out.
Get it out.
And I said, Jeremy, Sunday. And he was like, okay, Sunday. And we set up our little plan. You was like, look, this is what's going to happen. We're going to stop here. And we're going to start this whole new approach in fasting. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And I can't say that it was like, hey, I did it super easy. And then look at me. It was not easy. Yeah. It was not easy. And, fast forward after just taking time with it. I think every day this man texts me every day, probably the first, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, actually almost. And then we went from every day to at least twice a week.
I said I was going to turn you loose.
Yeah. And then he was like, I'm going to turn you loose. But it was the best thing. Yeah. It was the best thing. So hopefully I was just talking about how I got started.
No. It's all good. It's all good. I remember that conversation. I was in this garage and it was a real honest and open conversation. Yeah. But I could tell, sometimes you can tell when people are serious and when they're not. And I knew you were serious. And I didn't have to, a lot of people you have to explain the science. Here's what's going to happen.
Yes.
You got to talk about what happened, what goes up, what goes down. With you, I didn't have to explain anything. It was like you just trusted and you were off to the races. Yeah. And so I know, like you said, it's not easy. When you first started, what did you do? Was it a 12 to 8 schedule? So talk about the journey, and did you tighten your window? Did you get into, I know some of the answers, but extended fasting. So talk about how you did what you did.
I think when we first started, the first thing you wanted me to do the first couple of days is that my fast, you were like, hey, the first thing we're going to do is cut it off every night and, do whatever. And I was first asked like, hey, what do you want me to eat?
What do I eat?
And I was like, you was like, what kind of plan you want to do? I think the only thing you said is the two things that you told me. And I tell people this all the time when they ask me about my weight loss. I said it's so simple that it might be difficult to do. Yeah. Right? That's right. You're like, cut out sugar. And you said, hey, I like to I was drinking heavily then. Every other day, I guess, or every other weekend. And you're like, look, I'm not telling you to stop, but we're going to put it on pause. Yeah. He was like, I'm not telling you to stop, but we're going to put it on pause. And then after that, you'll take it from there. And so I started out just cutting off 8 o'clock. And I was like, no alcohol. And then the no sugar. And I'm thinking, what's going to be the toughest thing is probably the alcohol, right? It wasn't alcohol. I stopped alcohol just like that.
Yeah.
And Jeremy just kind of gave me insight like, listen, we got to heal your body. This is going to heal your body, heal your liver, and flush yourself out.
Yeah.
And then the other key thing you said was we're going to hydrate. Get your water in. We got to do this. Get your water in.